Welcome to Economics 101, a podcast bridging the gap between economics, finance, and current events between our current generation, with speakers Vish, Ritam, and Sinan, and myself as host, Mihir.
So, hi, I'm Vish, and I'm a junior in high school, and I enjoy sports, and I do some investing myself.
I'm also a junior in high school because my name is Sinan, and um, some things I like to do is I like reading books and just going outside in general.
My name is Ritam Prakayasta. I'm also a junior in the same high school. I love to play the violin. I love to play video games sometimes. And I like learning a lot about finances and so on. I want to become a political science. I want to do something in political science and hopefully become a journalist or something in law. So
Um, I I'm here. I love playing games, reading up, and I am a total stock nerd. In these past few months, with the pandemic, learning about different things, it's been really fun, and we hope to be sharing some of our knowledge and educating in a semi-casual, formal way.
Speaking of Rita, what Ritam was talking about how like what do you want to go in? I actually want to probably go into finance or economics. So I think this is also going to be an interesting experience, and I think Sinan wanted to go into like
Yeah, I wanted
coding.
to do something in entrepreneurship, so this is a good thing.
obviously, buying things is a lot more different from everyone here. I just feel like something to do with economics. Economics really focuses on everything. It really affects basically everything in life. And I think in terms of law, a lot of problems can be focused on the economics, such as the current Robin Hood problems that been facing towards today's problem. If anyone wants to go into depth for that.
Segueing into our current topic for today, Wall Street bets, GameStop, AMC. What has happened in the past few months regarding the biggest common man stock increase in modern history? GameStop is a company that sells video games, electronics, and other merchandise. And during the pandemic in the last few years, its stock and its revenue in general has gone down tremendously with the increase of online retailing and giants like Amazon taking over the scene. Mom and pop shops have been spiraling down, and GameStop has been following a similar trend. But what happened on Wall Street Bets, a Reddit subreddit with over 1 million subscribers? They created the biggest common man rise up ever. As of now, Wall Street Bets has around 10 million subscribers, but during this time, before everything rose up, they came together to try to go against one hedge fund. A hedge fund, this hedge fund essentially bet against GameStop, thinking that they were going to go down and down and down. By putting economic investments onto them, they made sure to make money off the downfall of GameStop. Wall Street Bets is an eccentric bunch of people. They wanted to rise up against this hedge fund and essentially prank them while making money. In this, they essentially rose the stock of GameStop exponentially, rising it from as low as $8 up to 350. Crazy numbers, and people all around the world joined in on this stock increase and made tons of money. But what's special about this is how can we as Gen Z, how can we as younger students replicate this kind of success? How can we get into the stock market? Because it seems like this type of information has been withheld from us at the very least.
Yeah, so I mean, like just to go into kind of like what happened after the incident, uh, before we go into like how it affects us or what we can do. So overall, I think we can all agree like this was all over the news. I think everybody knew about what's going on, but I don't think everybody here kind of knows about like not everybody here. People watching may not know the specifics. And I mean, we here just explained it, but the reaction was pretty insane, especially from uh, like big, large hedge funds and hedge fund involved for this particular incident. So, in case you don't know what the hedge fund that was involved was trying to do, was trying to, since GameStop was already going down, they were trying to short the stock, which is where people borrow shares from a company and then they sell them after promising to pay the stock later. And so once the value goes down, then the investor can make a profit by paying the stock back. So that's what they were trying to do, right? But then, like me here said before, Wall Street Bets, they kind of realized what this hedge fund was doing, and they essentially pranked this hedge fund. So what they did was people started buying the GameStop's stock, and they shot the price up. So then all these this hedge fund that was shorting the stock, they ended up losing a crazy amount of money just because these people were all trying to um, bring the stock up. And then this was huge for not just these people in general, because since they made such a huge profit, like it kind of shows how much the common investors can do when they come together. And like it's kind of ironic that these guys were like acting like a hedge fund. Like, what do you guys think? It's kind of interesting to me because they're acting like a large institution themselves by shooting the stock up, like by coming together and doing all that.
I think it just goes to show how much of an impact that, like, when a community of people come together, they can have a massive impact on the economy, specifically the stock market this time. Like, even against big corporations with hedge funds, just a group of people that don't even know each other on Reddit banded together to try and stop their plans, right? So it just goes to show how much a group of people can have an effect on the economy and other things as well.
I mean, one thing I'd also like to say, it's crazy how of all the companies, we chose GameStop to be the representation of the change of our future. GameStop's the same company where I gave my Xbox 360 for some credit back and all I got was $32. And this is the same one that's going to help people like these fudge these hedge fund people. I'm so sorry about that. These hedge fund people to realize that the common people can do a lot of great things. If anyone would like to add to that.
I mean, it's really funny because GameStop has been scamming us since our childhood. I could relate like to so many levels on like what Ritam's talking about. Like I think I remember specifically going up to a GameStop. I don't know how many years ago it was. I brought like maybe like 7 Wii games. And remember these Wii games, I think they went for like $40-$50 back then. And now that the Wii is like an outdated console. I went to sell them and like I think I was in fifth grade at that point. I was so happy. I thought I was gonna buy a new game for myself. I thought I was like making money even though I'd already spent so much on it before. And I think I came out with like $20 flat. It's
Yeah, it's
Do you
crazy.
think that other than just GameStop, there's gonna be these other companies that like seem very low in terms of the stocks? They're gonna increase exponentially because of stocks like GameStop. I think Blockbuster is also a very predominant company, which is basically dead, but I'm still is pretty active only because of the GameStop thing.
well, that's a part of the stuff that happened, right? You have companies like AMC, BlackBerry. Wall Street Bets didn't just go after GameStop, right? They went after a bunch of stocks that they just wanted to influx in order to fight against corporate and Wall Street. And what's really interesting, and I think like Vish can add to it too, is Wall Street didn't like what happened at all. This was even though our economy is for the people, our politicians are public servants. A lot of what happens is that this information is being gatekept from us. A lot of people, especially tons of people in our high school, don't know how to invest. And even through college, people don't know how to pay taxes. These simple requirements that are needed to become an adult aren't really being taught at a young age. So it seems like the stock market in general is elitist when it's actually something a lot of us can get into and it's something that Wall Street Bets and the GameStop incident taught us about.
Yeah, I think to what Mihir was saying about how like this really affected like large hedge funds and I guess Wall Street, like they had a very negative reaction toward this. But yeah, it kind of goes to show how much we can do, or the general population can do to, because yeah, people think that like the stock market, oh, these huge companies have such control. Like, so just to give some like context, so a hedge fund, it's basically a bunch of very powerful people or corporations coming together, and they pool all their funds to kind of like make investments for quick profits. So like there'll be very risky investments, which is what they did with GameStop. So they shorted since they already knew the company was going, like their stock was going down. They figured it was going to go down even more with the pandemic, so they just started shorting it like crazy, right? And since hedge funds are so powerful, they can usually, that's why people like they don't like how, or they may be reluctant to go into the stock market because like things like hedge funds or large people can manipulate the stock market. So these hedge funds can like control companies to for their own benefit, right? So people kind of saw that this hedge fund in particular was like shorting GameStop like crazy. So when all of a sudden all these people are buying the GameStop stock and bringing it up, then like this is obviously a huge loss because especially when you're shorting stocks, you have to you have to pay the stock back after it goes down. So if the stock ends up going up, then you'll lose a lot more money than if you were to like invest in a stock regularly where if the stock goes up you also make money. It's the opposite in this case.
I mean,
So yeah.
yeah, sorry. With what happened, Citadel runs a hedge fund, Citadel Securities,
Yeah.
which was the one interfering with a lot of the stuff, as you said. And they, with the amount of stuff that they shorted and how much GameStop increased and now has fallen back down to mediocre stock numbers, they lost incredible amounts of money. But what ended up happening is Wall Street bailed them out.
Yeah, exactly. Many of the companies that lost like a ton of money from this whole thing, they were desperately trying to like gain the money that they lost back. Like they were trying to create restrictions on online investing apps, and they were like trying to restrict how much people could buy the stock. And I really think that like overall, this just goes to this kind of like warns these large companies that and large like hedge funds that like if they're like trying to do stuff like this and control the market, if people kind of realize what they're doing and anticipate what's going on, it it really like it it can really affect them adversely. And if people like us, even at a young age, can become like educated on this stuff, then we can kind of like make the stock market and trying to make money through methods like these more equal. And like yeah, so
I mean, I know Ritam has been using Robinhood for a while now. And with what happened with GameStop, he can speak to it firsthand, how Robinhood just stopped the tickers on AMC and GameStop to prevent people from rising the stock. Because if you guys don't know, To the Moon with like all the rocket emojis was
yeah.
trending all
I
over
remember
the
even on
world.
TikTok there's so many people, there's so many lives with like people saying stuff like that.
And they just want this stock to skyrocket because at the end of the day, this is like a consumer stock. A lot of stock gurus, even though they were mad that it was going up, a couple of cool ones are like these are extremely volatile, scary, like monster stocks. If you want to throw your money at it, go ahead. If you're gonna lose money, you're gonna lose money. If you're gonna make money, you're gonna make money. But like Ritam can speak firsthand to how they just blocked him.
Look, number one, I'm a 17-year-old who can't really, pay for college until that. So I never really wanted to invest in GameStop, but I could see having a Robinhood account and investing in all these small companies and so on, just so I can get enough. I saw this GameStop thing and I was like really surprised at how Robinhood handled it. Not only did they want to protect these hedge fund managers, it just seemed crazy on what they wanted to do. I just this is why I took all my money out of Robinhood, and there's a lot more brokerages. If you guys don't know what a brokerage is, brokerage, which is essentially is a middleman that connects both the buyers to the sellers. So what they do is that you talk to a very consulting company, which is basically TD Bank. TD Ameritrade is one popular one. Charles Schwab, E Trade, and obviously Robinhood, which currently is pretty controversial right now, and I don't recommend it as a prime time user, a pastime user of it. I am saying that this is really helpful because it's an easy way to just start it off. It's with just the use of your phone, which is not in my hand at the moment, but you can imagine a phone's right there. Just having this at your palm of the hand and just being able to buy stocks quickly. It's crazy how we're able to do this, and yet there's still these companies who are trying to deny us the rights of getting these type of stocks, and I just think that's crazy. Another issue I just have with that is the fact that we protect these brokerages protect these hedge fund managers and how it's always the elitist society that's being protected. But what I say is eat the rich. The fact that the rich are the ones are selling insulin packets for $300, they're controlling the markets for that. And yet when us, the middle, the middle class is controlling the ability to buy all these stocks for high prices, and then they're the ones who are like, nope, we cannot do this. This is totally outrageous. It's crazy. What do you guys think about this?
Well, I mean, I don't think this is entirely like I don't think they're necessarily completely trying to protect the these large companies like with Robinhood and everything. I feel like these large hedge funds probably also had a hand in it. So yeah, I mean, I it's we don't really know. We're not like inside people, but I feel like definitely the large hedge fund, like larger companies and institutions have a hand in what's going on.
If they didn't want to protect them, why would they freeze them? I'm just saying these
No,
questions.
no,
I'm
because no, like I said before, they probably had a hand in what was going on. Like as in, it may not have entirely been like Robin Hood that was saying, "Oh, we got to protect these guys." Like they the these large companies probably had a they probably were like since they have the means to do so, they could probably control smaller companies to do what they want.
There's a
Um,
lot of factors and reasons as to why hedge funds would try and hold their money from distributing it to the lower middle classes. This is why also the stock market, it's a very inflatable and deflatable area because there's a lot of events that can happen leading with current events, things from the past, things from the future. The prices of things always inflate from up and down. So that's why getting to know how to invest and staying on top of these current events is very important.
I mean, what type of ways do you think us as like high schoolers and our generation in general can move forward with it? Like I know like from Robinhood, using these brokerage accounts in order to facilitate your own income is a way, but is it really okay for people of our generation and even above to focus on quick just getting your money in, investing, quickly selling out, or should we focus on like long-term investing?
So the thing is, obviously, a lot of people want quick, fast money, right? So they can buy their new video game that came out or whatever that they want to buy. But when you take a step back, the most important thing is to realize that their long-term goal should not be to just get fast money. It's to understand how to make a reliable source of money as you enter college life, adult life, right? We probably know people in college that still don't even know how to pay their taxes, right? So the younger you are and the younger you understand how the market and the economy works, the better it is. And it's statistically proven as well that the brain can learn and understand concepts much quicker when you're younger. So that's why fast money, sure, they might be good for a little bit, but the overall goal for us is to try and find a reliable source of income and understand how these current events and other things can impact our source of money making. So there's a lot of things that we can actually do to get started with this, right? As a lot of people did on the Reddit forum of Wall Street Bets, they invested a lot of money, right, to see if they could drive a hedge fund out from trying to destroy a company, right? So obviously we don't have to go that in depth into putting as much money as we can and seeing the results without knowing. It's really irresponsible to do so. So one thing you can do is you can pick one individual stock, right? And you can watch it grow over several months. You can invest as little as possible. You can invest as little as $5, $10. See if the price drops or raises, right? It's all important to gain an understanding of how the stock market is not always going to be. It's not never linear. Prices can always rise, can always fall, right? So just seeing the price of your investment go up and down is really important so you can make better decisions in the future, right? If a company does well, you do well as well. If a company does not do well, like in this case, a lot of companies were shut out because of the pandemic, because less people were going to buy their things, their value would go down, right?
I guess then think about it like situationally. So like personally, for my stock profile, not that I have one, I'm not 18, but um thinking about these sorts of things situationally, for example, the pandemic coming upon, investing in a mainstream food opportunities, like let's say Chipotle. If Chipotle didn't have a set up infrastructure for delivering food for people during the quarantine and the pandemic, would it be a good investment? Some things like Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, they spiked during the pandemic because food delivery opportunities, when people are quarantined and stuck inside of their houses, just go up tenfold. And learning how to maneuver around these situations. For example, in last before the pandemic hit, of course. Biomedical companies were on the rise, big tech was on the rise, and understanding these market trends is something we'll talk about in future podcasts. But it's something by learning we can all grow as students. I know for sure, like Vish has invested in the past on companies throughout this thing, and he can speak on it.
Yeah, like overall, like even you said that before the pandemic, big tech companies were big. I mean, they've always been big, but even now they're still going up like crazy. I mean, recently it hasn't been so great, but these all of these, I think, the, even in places where you think that like the market won't go up, like Disney World or not Disney or like not Disney World, sorry, like the Disney stock and even like small amusement parks like Six Flags and stuff, they've all adapted to what's going on right now, and their stocks are still going up even when you think like how are they supposed to make any money?
Exactly. That's why you always want to stay on top of your information, right? Get on top of current events, know what's happening in the world, right? Because these things, even the smallest things, can severely impact the market and the stock market as a whole.
So what I'm
Everyone
hearing
has
from
said,
you.
oh,
Oh yeah, go.
you know, okay, yeah. No, I just wanted to like round it all up. Everyone said the same exact points, and I feel as though that the best way to invest in things is just research, research, and research. You have to be able to know what you're investing into. You cannot just vote for you cannot just invest in Apple because you just like their products or something. No, there has to be an underlying reason of why. Maybe the products thing could be impacted to that. I know when Apple unveiled their first phone without the home screen and a full vibrant screen, the stock prices went up. But then again, if you look back, another reason why it went down was because they took away the headphone jack. All of these factors are just from research and research. You need to be able to know that, okay, so this company is making good decisions. So just by judging from those good decisions, I should be able to vote. I should be able to invest in them. But I do think that you still need to be careful. You don't know if that same good decision company, their CEO could be, I don't know, a pedophile, could be all of these type of things. And I think because of that, you just need to be careful and you just need to make sure that what you invest in is going to be safe.
I mean, what I'm hearing from this, um, bringing back to like Wall Street bets and the situation with GameStop, while it was a great way to talk about like big tech, Wall Street losing against the common man, we were trying to stress that it wasn't the most basic or normal way of investing. In fact, it was an extremely volatile situation where of course a lot of people made money, like user deep blank value on Reddit. He had his stock profile for GameStop at around 47 million at one point because he was doing this experiment where he would buy a large volume of GameStop stock that he started from like I believe the beginning of 2019 or so, or the end of 2019, and he has bought through it all, and he made tons and tons of money after holding until the peak. But you also have situations where people are losing a lot of money because you don't know when to sell. You don't know when to get out. You don't know the situations when stuff is going to rise. And that's why what Ritam and Sinan are saying with researching, knowing the trends of what's going to happening, internal company decisions, whether a CEO is going be changed, whether they're moving down, a new CEO is coming, new products arising with his Apple example, of course. Learning about these things is extremely important in these types of situations.
Exactly. And the thing is, a lot of these things require extensive knowledge, right? And not all the time though. There's other ways of making money and also getting introduced to businesses and earning money. Like for example, you can like if it say there's a big snowstorm outside like we had recently in New Jersey. A lot of people can start like asking their neighbors to shovel snow, right, for like an hour or something, or even mow their lawns during spring or summer, right? Just getting introduced to the market, the economy, will help drive these things. It instigates you getting into research, getting into current events. So you can start from something as simple as that. You can even have a lemonade stand in your local park, right? Everything stems from something, right? So if you want to be good at understanding these concepts, understanding the market, how or why things increase or decrease in value, starting these really simple things can really help with that.
So speaking of understanding the market, like what do you guys think of kind of the future of with especially with this new incident? I think kind of really changes how a lot of people perceive what we can do, like what normal people can do. What do you think the future of like kind of economy and overall like the future of how where do you think we're gonna go like economically and
Okay, so in terms, oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm just saying, just in terms of the future, I just feel it's more obvious that a lot more people are going to be learning about stocks, learning about investments, and so on. The fact is that because of such a large event, everyone was talking about it. My dad was talking about it. My mom was talking about it. My cousin's dog was talking about it. All these people were just talking about it. And I believe that because of that, a lot more people are going to be learning about investing. More people are going to want to invest. And I believe because of that, we're going to be able to like learn more. You go on TikTok, I see a billion TikToks about how you can invest. And that's only because people want to learn and they're capitalizing on that. And I just think that that's going to be very hopeful for our future to be more into like to learn more about investing. Another thing is that Bill Winterberg, a tech consultant at the FPP ad, mentioned that the future investing is in a direct customized index using a single technology focused brokerage firm. So what this basically means is that companies like Robinhood, companies like TD Ameritrade, they're going to be using their abilities to help us, the people, invest more. And so we might be able to do things that was considered elitist to be a normal everyday practice because of the of what this has happened. And I think that's just amazing to a biggest sense because all of these events today, what we have learned is that the common people are able to do big things. So big that the higher people, the people that we need to eat the rich, they need to like just see that and they're gonna be scared of us. Does anyone have anything else to say?
I mean, what we're trying to get at here, right? We've gotten perspectives from people like Vish and myself who have invested, people like Sinan who haven't gotten into investing as of recently, but because of research, have gotten to know the market more and more. What we can put together is you should try to build wealth, not like these quick, getting money, getting out, getting in and getting out. Getting these stocks that make money for you overnight is what we want to stress moving forward. We want you to get in, like whatever stock you may be, which for example, like Tesla, your Teslas, your Apples, your Amazon, you know those are going up. Putting your money into that, the S&P 500, investing into stocks using your research that you know, in your intuition that will go up. You don't want to be like a broker constantly looking at your phone, switching in and out, being extremely stressed about your money. These are investments at the end of the day. And as younger people in Generation Z, becoming more accustomed to this as we become adults and as we get into college and get out of college, we'll be much more financially secure for the future. And I can pose a question to you guys, almost wrapping it up, is how do you feel this GameStop situation, with how I mean AMC, BlackBerry, and Wall Street bets in total? What do you think we're going to do for the future? How are we going to change the way that we're investing now?
Well, I mean, I think this whole event kind of like I said before, and I think we've all kind of like it's just completely not completely different because stuff like this has happened before,
It's
but
very unprecedented, that's for sure.
yeah, like it kind of shows how much power we have, and like people usually think that oh these large institutions they control everything, we can't really do much, but by coming together we can, and it's like I said before, it is kind of ironic how we're kind of acting like a hedge fund or a large firm ourselves, but I think it just goes to show how powerful we can be when we all come together.
You think that because of all of this, GameStop might give my Xbox 360 for $70 now instead of 32 or something?
I don't know. We'll have to see. It's this is just as unprecedented as a lot of things have happened, right? So we just gotta see what happens.
And this has been our conversation on Wall Street bets and the GameStop situation. Economics 101, and we're a podcast focusing on talking about these current events topics with our generation to try to build a casual and informal way and educating in whatever way that we can. I've had a really good time with my speakers, Vish, Sinan, and Ritam, and we'll see you next time talking about our next topic. Goodbye.
See you guys.
See ya.